Mika, I want to talk with you very candidly. When I do interviews, I like to just try to not do the same thing that probably everybody did on the same worn out path.
Okay.
You and I have crisscrossed on dozens of occasions.
Yeah.
Occasionally, you've seen my booth or I've seen you, but
your face is super familiar. So
yeah. So I'm that crazy guy they call the drill instructor, whose booth is usually louder than anybody else's at the event, so they put me in the hallway.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I understand you're going through some very significant life transformations, and there's a part of this conversation that there's a part of me that wants to talk to you more on a very personal level, because for the standard of the world's sake, as a professional instructor coach, I'm exceptionally as interested in your physical well-being as I am in your mechanics and performance on the stage. So that's how I operate. And when I heard that you weren't well, I personally felt, a personal sadness over the fact that you're fighting with something that now it's your fight.
Yeah.
It is your fight, and I'm sure this came up to you by surprise. I've always seen you as a pretty fit looking athlete. I feel like I thought from my impressions of you, you always took generally pretty good care of yourself. So with your permission, I'd like this conversation to just be a very personable one without it.
I'm open to anything. I'm not,
Yeah.
I've been very public about this, and then what type of cancer it is, and
Sure.
once it went public, I was just, I want to share this thing, because I don't want this to happen shouldn't happen to anyone, because
we wouldn't want it to.
And it can be prevented. There are preventative measures that can take place, and it's something that was frankly like growing inside me. It could have been a process of like a matter of, I might have had it like 4 or 5 years ago already, but it was like minute, and then it was growing without my knowledge, and it got to the point where it was physically becoming like painful to exist, and to just to have a regular. I wasn't having any like regular bowel movements by any means, and I was going from constipation to diarrhea to back and forth, and then there was a point where I could like hardly let anything out, because the cancer was just blocking blocking the exit. So to be,
I have to tell you,
speaking in terms of like, what it is what it is.
So what's the name of the cancer you have?
It's a colorectal adenocarcinoma.
Okay.
And it was stage 4, and it was about 10 inches long, but it wasn't like super wide, but it had taken over a significant amount of space in my colon, and then it was like, basically sticking out of the other exit. Mm-hmm. But it was long enough to like cause some disturbance in my pelvis, but it was also hitting some nerves in my sacrum, and it was causing
yeah, sure.
Sorry.
At what point
it was causing so much pain that even morphine wasn't helping. So
yes, I would think so. At what point did you begin to feel the very clear disruption in your playing abilities?
Well, there were times where I was like, it was there was some like other activity that wasn't like regular. It was like, like I said, there was constipation, diarrhea, but then there was also like this mucus that was like getting developed. I was either from the colon wall as a like a defensive mechanism from the body, or it was the cancer that was producing this weird like
Yeah.
liquid.
How old are you now, Mika?
I'm 51 now. I just turned 51 in December.
Okay.
And so there were times in the games where I had the like time, like I'm just gonna definitely take a toilet thing before the match starts. And then I was trying to like hold on until, you know, then it at some
Yeah.
point match I had to just use that timeout.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that I wouldn't have to like take a, you know, like just an emergency timeout. But there were some tournaments where I said I'm dealing with some like health issues, and I am not doing it to like shark you, but I'm telling you before the match, like there
Right.
be a moment where I had to take an emergency
Yeah.
second timeout because I was basically, you know, and I was getting diagnosed, misdiagnosed for this because, you know, the first few doctors that I went to, they were just saying it's, oh, you have like hemorrhoids, and you know,
Yeah.
then they said that the pelvic thing was like
What
not
is
really.
what is your experience with PEMF?
What can you like? That's an abbreviation of what?
Pulse electromagnetic fields or pulse
Uh,
electromagnetic field therapy?
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay.
I'm
Are you
familiar with
familiar?
like electric
It's basically magnetic fields that are used very specific. I will send you I will send you some very specific information right away. Make sure that Kat has your personal contact information. Um, when my players come to me, I incorporate full health treatment with education on why they should continue this. And once again, I need to take care of you physically, mentally, in order for me to imagine I'm going to optimally get your best performance on
Yeah.
that. And that's the level that I work at all the time. So, um, PEMF is a stimulant specifically for your blood. Once all disease, all cancer, anything starts in the blood.
Yeah.
So the very simplest term is that PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, is specifically for the blood. I literally just packed up my unit because I'm traveling back to South Carolina right now. I'm getting ready to leave, and when we are finished, I have my PEMF equipment. I just take the
So
car with me. I
okay,
go
can I
everywhere with
ask
it.
you a question? So
Yes,
this
sir.
could be a good supplemental, like extra, like healing effort on you know, on the side of like whatever.
It's the first line of defense right out of the gate with all of the nature health doctors that would start taking care of you and treating you. They will get you on PEMF immediately.
Yeah. And this
Two
is,
to
yeah,
three
obviously
times a
like a
day
more,
minimum.
it's a
Yeah, you'll
holistic.
get what it does is remarkable because here's the simplest here's the simplest way. Since we're in an interview, I want to describe this to you in a way that anybody who's listening could actually get it as well with us. Okay, so take a perfectly healthy grape. This is going to be one of your living live cells. It's got all the components. It's got the DNA, so it knows its job. It's got the mitochondria, the ATP, where's
Yeah.
all your energy. It's got everything for your nutrients to store up the right nutrients. And
Okay.
it has your lymphatics, so it has waste it can get rid of. And every cell in your body, trillions of them, they all have this exact same dynamic. And again, this is a very simplified version of what I'm explaining.
Okay.
Now, if we take that grape and we stop giving it the proper nutrients and we stop giving it the proper magnetic field energy sources that it needs and requires, it begins to shrivel up. And when a grape finally shrivels up, it becomes what? A raisin.
A raisin. Yeah.
So we go and buy boxes of raisins. And now we've made a business out of selling rotten grapes. That's okay. That's how commercialism works. We'll figure out how to make something out of something.
Right.
The point is this, if you've ever taken some raisin and you leave them out too long and they're not in the package, they go put away in, you didn't put them in the plastic bag or in the refrigerator, you leave
Yeah.
them out long enough, they eventually turn into like little ugly rocks.
Yeah, they dry
You can't
up
even
and
chew them anymore. Okay.
yeah.
That has become a dead, irreversible, unregeneratable cell in your body. So you've
Okay.
gone from a healthy grape or a plum down to a prune, down to a raisin, and the next thing you know, it shriveled up into trash.
Okay.
When that shriveling up happens, that's cancer. You get too many of those, they just keep packing up. Your body has no way to get rid of them. And that's when it rears up his ugly head in such a way that it begins to affect all of your feelings of your health. And you would say, well, I'm not feeling so great. I better go to a doctor. And you go to the doctor, and yes, it was too late. Now, if there's only a little bit of it going on and they try to use the term, we caught it early. Well, the reason why that's not necessarily a true statement is because every single person is born with cancer in their body.
Right.
It's just for some people, it's gotten completely out of hand.
Yeah.
And
It's
what
more,
gets it out of hand is when you don't have the proper nutrients, your liver, your kidneys, everything is in struggle, everything's in distress. The body is still fighting to try to be normal because that's the way our body is.
yeah.
Self-preservation is the number one thing that every human being has. That's why you
Yeah.
can't hold your
I
breath
mean,
and kill yourself.
I believe that the body is still, regardless of what's happening, it is a survival machine
Exactly.
if you give it a chance, right?
Thank you. And by giving the pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, I took a very severe fall. I haven't said this publicly, but now I'm sharing it with you. It's going to be public. I took a very severe fall a week and a half ago, right straight down on my backside, literally straight on it. I was sitting up, so I felt I felt my spinal cord just compressed like an accordion. I sat there for a few moments to make sure if I was okay or not.
Yeah.
It was a really hard fall as a part of trying to move some moving things, and I didn't catch the right balance and momentum of what was taking place. My feet slipped out, and I hit as hard as I could physically hit, short of I should have broke or shattered
Right.
pelvic bones. Now, aside from the fact that, like you or anybody else in our sport, we should be trying to take good care of our physical fitness, our health. I mean, this is just part of life. You should be taking care of
Yeah. Yeah.
yourself no matter what. Within 2 hours, I could barely shuffle my feet and walk. That night, I did a triple therapy session on the PEMF mat, and then I did a triple session on the infrared lights and
Yeah.
the near and regular infrared light. Early in the morning, I did another triple. At noontime, I did another triple. By evening, my pain went from a hot 9 to about a 5, 6 in 24 hours.
That's
I was
amazing.
down to about a 4 or 5 within the second 48 hours. Now this happened on that Sunday night. By Friday morning, I was kicking, moving, swerving, swiveling, doing everything I can do as a martial artist and everything I do.
Wow.
I went out and played pool that night for a few hours. It was the first time I did. The next morning, I began aching. Even though I felt completely better, I wasn't fully healed.
Yeah.
So I aggravated it, and my pain management went
You
from
you
about a
you went
2.
a little. You got a little bit too complacent, and you
Thank
went,
you.
yeah, play some pool, and this is fine.
By Friday, I was down to about a managed to a 1 to a 2 pain level at best.
You
By
agitated it. Yeah.
Saturday morning, I was back to a 5 or 6.
Well, sounds like something I would do.
Exactly. So quickly, I got right back on the PEMF. And PEMF is going to drive the blood. It drives the blood. So what I want you to do to make it simple so we don't waste this time, you go
Yeah.
on YouTube and you look up what is PEMF or PEMF blood flow. There's a short little about a 1-minute video on there that shows the blood flow of PEMF before you're on it, after you're on it for about 30 seconds to a minute, when you're on
Okay.
it for about 5 to 10 minutes, but it'll last 10 to 20 hours almost into your body in treatment, and your blood
Okay.
flow begins to move like a hot highway. You know, it's like an Atlanta highway at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's the only time you could speed on it.
Okay.
Otherwise, bogged down like that highway or like an LA highway in the middle of any given afternoon, which is what happens to people's blood. So the first thing I want to ask you is if you can find access to any PEMF.
I certainly can. I'm moving. Just to give you an update. I had a great friend here who was my student in the past, and 7 years ago, 6 years ago, I spent a significant amount of time here in Costa Rica because I was just hanging out here, and I had a little accident, and then I ended up having a little hand surgery, and then healing from the hand surgery because I was like out of commission to play. So I was like, I took the time to hang out in Costa Rica, and I was here for a few months, and then I ended up teaching this person who's a doctor. And then while I was getting the situation was getting a little bit severe with my situation, what was going on, and I didn't have a diagnosis yet. But in Japan, I had a CAT scan, and they told me that you're going to need some medical attention like ASAP. And I was like, well, my itinerary is Costa Rica next. So I called up my friend who I know is a doctor, and he worked at the ER and all that stuff. We were friends, but I never like dug into the details what type of specific doctor he is. And then he's like, okay, well, I can get you these appointments and we can get you sorted out. But I am an oncologist, so I am going to personally check you out. And I've been in this field for 30 years, so
You got the right guy, yeah.
you're in good hands. And he fast tracked everything that was there to do, like MRI, PET. It was too late for a colonoscopy because there was no room for that.
Yeah, exactly.
The cancer was at the entrance, and then
Okay.
and then I ended up having an endoscopy, which was the biopsy. And from the time that I arrived in Costa Rica, I still played one more tournament, which I finished in the semifinals, and with all this pain and all this like sleep deprivation, because I didn't want to let down my fans and my people that were expecting me. And I was getting the MRI while I was in tournament, so the promoter was like flexible with the times that he was scheduling me in. And then so within from the MRI, within like 8 or 9 days, I had MRI, PET scan, endoscopy, biopsy results, diagnosis, prognosis, surgery for a port in my chest, and the first chemo within 10 days, which is like unheard of. And you can't, I don't care where you are.
He was treating you like you were his nephew.
It was treating me like his own son. And then he fast tracked everything. I mean, thank God there wasn't like an influx of like people that were in, but the healthcare is here in Costa Rica is just because I had that surgery 7 years ago, I had an experience about how things work here. So I had full confidence in the hospitals. And when I needed a blood test for like to monitor how everything's going with my kidneys or liver, everything, I could get a blood test, and then 2 hours later I could go to the hospital, get a blood test, and they were drawing my blood within 10 minutes, and then 2 hours later they emailed me the result. And
so let me give you an important piece of information so it doesn't slip my mind. And again, while this is an interview, I'm talking with you, Mika, like we're just one-on-one. The interview is irrelevant right now. It's just a good chance for you and me to get together.
We've exchanged, like I've met you many times in like tournaments or like trade shows, et cetera, but we've exchanged some, it was email or some messages back and forth about like the game in the past. But yeah, I mean, I don't remember what the specifics were, but we've communicated,
Yeah.
you know, even
So-
without face to face. But yeah,
So-
so go ahead.
And I don't even mind that you just called me goat head.
Go ahead.
I know, I'm not kidding. We're such good friends, everyone. I
Anything
allow
with
him to call me
goat,
goat head.
anything with goat is good, right? Greatest of all time.
It's my new nickname, goat head. So Mika, here's the thing. You brought up a subject that just so happens to be my most favorite person of all. And so I need to ask you about this, okay? You just made the statement, and thank God, and then we went on. So I have to ask you, in the middle of all this, where is God in the middle of all this in your life?
Well, I definitely like, I don't want to like say that I have like a specific church, or like a, you know, I don't go to a specific house of God, but I do believe in like a higher element there, and you know, I also like believe in quantum physics, and I believe in, you know, one's ability to take care of oneself if you give it a chance, like I said earlier.
Mhm.
So, and the human body is the survival machine, but I've maybe some of this has been genetic, or it's like lifestyle, you know, travel, stress,
Mhm.
you know, constant like airplane exposure to like, you know, some wrong kind of magnetic fields. It's just, you know, but you know, if when shit hits the fan, so to speak, you start getting closer to like reaching out to whatever can help. And I've
Yeah.
been very I've
Well,
been like kind of spiritually like reaching out to some things that, you know, maybe other times I would not be so
okay.
much
Well,
into.
if
So
I will extend this offer to you. If you feel that you're reaching a point where you're looking for what to reach for, one of the things that I would be willing and would welcome to do with you is I would love the opportunity to just show you precisely how all of what's going on in your health operates in comparison to the owner's manual.
okay.
The,
And I'm very open-minded, and you know,
sure. And we would be happy to discuss that.
yeah, I listen. I mean, just for example, I don't know if you've been following any of the social media, etc., but Jeanette Lee came down to visit me for like moral support, and my mom is also, she's a Christian, and she's been praying for me, and she lights a candle, and then she, you know, sometimes she's like she like put her hand on my, you know, wherever she felt like, and then she was praying, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna let it happen, because
Sure.
I don't have anything against any religion or anybody's individual rights to practice their beliefs, and I'll take, like I said, I take all the help I can get, and I don't want to diminish anybody's self, you know, the rights to practice
Yeah.
anything
Well,
they want to do. And my style of living has always been like, you know, respect all, fear none, but also like I want to succeed without hindering anybody else's chance to do their own thing.
but in the process of your succeeding, you become, as you've been in many cases already, a living example, a living testimony, and a person that others could want to be drawn to find out what did you do, and then I want to do that with you. One of the things I'd like you to make a quick note of is in the Gerson, Gerson,
Like in my like notebook.
Gerson, yeah, exactly. The
Oh,
Gerson
I
Cancer
have the
Treatment
book.
Clinic,
I have the Gerson. I have the book.
exactly. these are the people that I connect with.
Gerson therapy. Yeah, I have the book. I've been diving into it, and I'm, listen, I believe in holistic medicine, and I am a great champion of
Good.
like Western and Eastern medicine. I believe in acupuncture. I believe in all this electromagnetic stimulation.
Mhm.
That there are meridians in your body that we don't know of, but then there are like holistic healers that are experts in that. And
If you
but
have the time to check this out,
nutrition,
yes,
like everything's involved. I'm involved with everything, and I'm
good.
trying to give. I'm actually like totally. I changed my diet completely, and I've cut out like so many things, and I'm doing 100% like what I can within my power
Good.
to get rid of this passenger that I have inside me. I'm about to kick that passenger out as soon as it's like,
Yeah.
because it was at a size where I couldn't fit out the door, so I gotta shrink that little thing.
Yeah.
And I have many names for it, which I'm gonna not say now, but they are not like.
The Gerson Clinic is the number one most successful center in the world, in all of the world, for cancer treatment. And they have sent more people home with stage 4 cancer to live who were already sent home with stage 4 cancer to die before they went there.
Yeah.
So I would pursue that. We could talk in terms of more detail, but let's not use that time here.
I wanted to hear that, because we're on this topic. I wanted to explain something that I had a call the other day with this person who is like known for like he's like a biohacker basically. His name is Gary Brecka.
Yeah, Gary Brecka. I know Gary. Yes.
Yeah, I actually was on the phone with him the other day, and he was talking to me about a doctor. I'm not gonna mention names now or like location, but there is a technique where you introduce this diet, and you kind of like get your body in a very like this certain metabolic state where it's very like low glycemic index situation, where now the cancer is like starving for something.
Exactly.
And cancer gets first dibs on sugar, right?
Yes.
So then when there is a technique that they have developed where you introduce a little bit of the sugar, but then you introduce, without the cancer knowing, there are some chemotherapy elements going into that same dose, and it's like a Trojan horse. And now the effects of that chemo with the sugar attacks the cancer. Now the cancer is eating it like, yeah. But in the meantime, there's poison for the cancer, and it's multiplied effect. So instead of like hitting the cancer with like this napalm and it destroying the rest of the rainforest at the same time, we can actually target the cancer with more specific, like pinpoint, like here, eat this, and then very minimal, like it doesn't destroy the rest of the body. Like I've been doing, like I'm done with 2 chemos, and it's, even though it's like helpful, but when you're going through it, it's like it's the worst thing that I've ever experienced. And our bodies shouldn't be exposed to like free-flowing chemo, but I mean, what choice?
It's just, let's just face it, it's just poison.
It is poison.
That's all there is to it. Now,
and I'm every time, like for the next session, I am getting myself strong. I'm getting ready for battle. I'm getting ready for war. And I've been, the first time I did it, I was a wreck. So it was like I had like nothing, and then it was like I was worse after it. But then I built, and I did like before the second session, I did 5 days of yoga in a row, and I did some other exercises, and I was like hardcore on healthy nutrition, very little bit, very low sugar, but high on like very nutrient dense things, and things that I cut out dairy, I cut out no empty carbs, no, I'm not doing any bread, pasta, any of that stuff, like basically human invention that it's just
I can tell you, our body,
I call them empty carbs.
our body functions optimally on
Yeah,
berries,
so
fruits, melons, vegetables.
I'm just trying to get my body in the best
Excellent.
state possible to get ready for the next battle. And there's going to be a few battles, but I do want to, like, you know, there's always like, hey, you want to get like a second opinion on this thing, or a third opinion. I'm very open-minded. I want to listen to all the options, but the best thing that I heard so far was when Gary Brecka explained this technique where they can introduce the sugar and chemo at the same time.
Yes.
And make the cancer think that it's just, hey, this is just the regular old sugar here.
Yeah, Gary's got some very, very sound therapeutic things that do not necessarily fall in line with our pharmaceutical world, our medical world, and of course it won't, because that's the Western culture.
Well,
if you're
exactly.
well,
I mean, the reason, I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know how this happened to me, but there could be several explanations, but I have been, you know, I enjoy life, and I'm not like always super healthy. I like go to a lavish dinner and I drink wine and I have a cocktail, and I'm just, you know, I'm a hedonist. So I just want to enjoy myself. And then, you know, some of that enjoyment may have like caused some I was wrecking havoc. But and when I'm not doing that, I also like, I do like intermittent fasting, and you know, and it's very good for you, because you're like, you know, you're introducing your body to those survival techniques, because when at the absence of sugar, at the absence of anything for the cell to eat, the cell starts eating itself out of all the garbage. So, and that's called the please fill in autophagy. So, which was you know, is discovered a long time ago, but you know, it doesn't like do medical, like the pharmaceutical companies, any good, because you're not selling anything, you're not buying anything, you're not selling anything, and that's why it hasn't been like really widely promoted as a, hey, this is a good.
If we can't
thing to do, because they're not selling anything.
Yeah, if we can't diagnose it, prescribe something for it, give you a procedure for it, or operate on you for it, we haven't. You're healthy or you're dead. I can't make any money off you, so that's kind of it. Now, I've suggested to you so far, just so you know, the Gerson Medical Treatment Center, which you might really want to consider visiting there and going there if they have room for you.
I'll check it out.
Secondly, also make sure you look to a very, very close. One of the other doctors I study extensively behind is Robert Morse, M-O-R-S-E, M-O-R-S-E, Robert Morse.
Yep. So you can just send me the little details. We can.
I'll send you those. Yeah, I'll send you those. I spell it out like that. Other people may not get what I'm going to send you. But Robert Morse, ND, is another person who's done extensive, successful work with people in stage 3, stage 4. So are you planning to make an appearance at Derby City?
No chance. I mean, you know, that's just a it is one of my favorite tournaments to go to, but it's also like a germ fest, and you know, I am not in any state of condition to like expose myself to any bacteria. You know, and speaking of bacteria, I'm not eating anything that's not cooked. So that's, you know, I'm not eating salad, but if I'm eating some greens, I'm cooking them, because I am not taking any chances.
Sure.
And I wear a mask when I go to like public places that are super crowded, because I'm not. And I'm, you know.
And what are you doing for nutrients?
I'm eating well, lots of vegetables, and
but you're cooking all the vegetables.
I'm cooking them.
Yeah.
And then
remember this,
the only
Mika.
thing that I'm not like, I am eating some fresh fruits, but I'm eating the ones that don't have so much sugar, like, you know, and then you know, I'm doing some ginger, like fresh ginger.
Yeah.
And I'm cooking ginger, and then the liquid that comes out of it, I add in I am into my
Let me
protein
make sure I give you something quickly so you know this, okay? All nutrition dies in food at 107 degrees.
Okay.
Okay, basically everything starts dying at 107 or 108 degrees. That's
Okay.
why when you start to have a temperature, they rush you to the hospital. At 101, 102, 103, everybody's panicking. Because at
Yeah.
107, everything starts to die.
Right.
Now, water starts to boil at 212 degrees.
Yeah.
So whether you're steaming it or boiling it, the moment you do that, everything you put in there is already dead.
It's
All
done.
the vegetables and everything else, all the nutrients are just wiped out of it.
Completely.
Once you cooked it, all you have left is fiber and pulp.
Fiber.
All you
Okay.
have is pulp and fiber. You have the nutrients are gone. So one of the things I want to encourage you to do
Is
is
that
I
part
want
of
you to
the therapy?
get a slow pressed, cold pressed juicer.
Yeah.
I recommend either the Nama J2 or the Kuvings Auto 10. Those are the two best in the world.
I have been doing some cold pressed juices. So, you know, some beet and ginger, you know.
Exactly. Now, if you were to take a slow press juicer versus a high spinning juicer, the high spinning juicer wastes 30% of the yield, the exact identical recipe.
And is that because of the G-force or something?
It's
That like,
yes, exactly. And it's pumping all of the food with air. So it's killing the nutrients quickly.
So the molecules are kind of just they can't take
Right. And it's wasting all the yield. It's just going out the machine wet, and you should be drinking that. A slow press juicer.
Masticating.
Now, what's happening is this. If you were to take that exact identical recipe and put it in a blender or put it in a juicer, in the blender, only about 30% of the nutrients are going to go straight into the bloodstream. And the reason is because 80% of our daily energy is expended through pulp or through the energy of digestion, the pulp.
Okay.
If you remove the pulp entirely, then pure juice, 100% of the nutrients go straight to the bloodstream. Your whole digestive system takes a vacation. You don't have anything energizing in your body going on. You're getting pure nutrients. So my recommendation is you're drinking 8 to 16 ounces per hour, 12 times a day. One of the things I will send you is I have a chart which I use, which tells me precisely from A to Z what you put in your body. And then across the top, it tells me exactly what that's doing for your health. What part of your health is being used for regenerative, rejuvenating resources to restore, to get that raisin back into a ripe grape again.
Okay. Hey, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's your opinion on like almond milk or cashew?
For now, while you're
I'm not doing dairy.
Yeah, right now I would avoid all dairy. I would avoid personally.
I'm not doing any dairy.
Good. Yeah, avoid all of that. Are you drinking coffee?
I am drinking some coffee, very limited.
Yeah, I would do something else.
You're like, no, that wasn't approving. That wasn't approving.
Yeah. The minute you drink, let's put it this way. Once you drink the coffee, you drink.
I cut out coffee for a full month, and now I'm just having a
yeah.
occasionally.
Listen, if you drink a Pepsi or a coffee or anything like that, just one serving. You just shut your liver down for 5 hours. Now you want to have 2 juices or 2 coffees, or 2 Pepsis.
Okay.
Now you shut your liver down for 10 to 12 hours.
Liver's taking a break, including like the job that it's supposed to do, putting out fires, right?
Yeah, your liver is supposed to be working and doing a job, and right now it's going, I can't do anything. This guy's killing me with all this coffee.
Okay, another thing that I did nutrition wise, which is like helping my liver, I went to a complete pescatarian because I haven't been eating meat because I want to give the liver a break. I'm not cooking any oils at any temperature where it can like produce carcinogens and everything. And I'm dressing my stuff with olive oil.
Okay, can the oils.
I'm just doing olive oil or avocado oil.
Throw it out.
Really?
We need to give your body optimum opportunity to rejuvenate and regenerate.
Well, just give me those in the, you know, the
I'm gonna
other.
put those in, I'm gonna put those in there for you. I'm gonna give you the entire food list for the targeted portions of the body that go into a juicer. You drink it, it goes straight into the new. It's better than any medication you could ever take.
Okay, Dom, let me ask just Catherine one question. Well, Catherine, was there something that you wanted to add here? Because just for both your information, I gotta get going soon.
Okay, for
friend of
right
mine-
now, Mika, I think this is more for you because
Okay.
I wanted you to be able to talk to Dominic because he's even helped my husband's 80 years old. He's got chronic kidney disease. He got,
Okay.
I'm
sorry to hear that.
I'm making juice for him 3 times a day. Dominic got me started doing that.
Yeah. So
And
you're being a map and introducing you know, this, you know.
Yeah, I
holistic.
still want to interview and everything, but right now I think I want this to benefit you. I lost my mom
Okay.
to colon cancer. So this is
I'm sorry. Yeah, I remember you
touching
saying that.
subject for
Yeah.
me.
Mika, I will step on what Catherine is saying complimentary to say this to you. We both have our fields in this beautiful sport we love. And you as a player, me as a coach and an instructor. And we both have our pinnacle of what we know we work to achieve the best of the best we can ever be. And there's that. But once it comes down to our pure health, once we start talking about what's going on behind the cue ball, not in front of the cue ball.
Yeah.
This is a whole different world where we need to be talking both with people who know what they're talking about, who have lived through what they're talking about, who have walked others through what they're talking about, and want to reach you about that as well. So this is what Catherine just expressed. That I said to her when she called me a couple of days ago and said, Dominic, would you do this interview with me, with Meek? And I says, okay, but it's going to have to want to talk about him personally because that's where my greatest care is going to come from now. My biggest concern for you is what's going on you behind the cue ball, the guy. What's going on in you physically, emotionally, nutritionally, spiritually, all of those things, they have a place where they need to become whole and fitted. So with your permission, if you can allow yourself to take time on your private time schedule, I will personally cut out some of my private time schedule and give you support.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk
but not just support because I care about you. I'm talking about support that works.
Yeah.
And then we'll fight. I will help join some of this fight with you if you'll allow that. In the meantime, I like to end every interview saying one thing, and that is to you. Would you talk to this audience, talk to these people who love you, talk to all of us who are here because of the effort and the contribution you've made through your life, and give some of these people your words of encouragement, your words of invitation, whatever comes out from your heart to want to let people know what's the best thing they can hold on to from you if this were the only chance they were going to get to really get to hear you give them something for them from you.
Well,
please just share that at your freedom.
I am totally like, you know, they might know me from my career being a, you know, fighter and just, you know, relentless and but I am using some of those champion elements that I've learned in my life to battle the situation that I'm in. But also, like, I can't say enough thanks to the billiard community, how they've come behind me on this and how I'm constantly getting like positive, you know, reinforcement from that community and all this love. And I honestly, like, gotta say, like, I've been an individual sportsman. I've, you know, been very like lucky to have like success on my level in pool and like championships, et cetera, et cetera. But this one I don't think I could do without you guys. And I totally like, they've propelled me and my self-belief in this fight to a whole new height. And that has like totally I was flabbergasted. And but I thank you with all my heart, and I am in this fight, and I am gonna win this. But we're gonna win this together. So thank you from
Okay,
the bottom of my heart.
Mika, thank you, and on behalf from Kat, who's pulled all this together for us, and all the people who do love you, the people who have been reaching out to you. I'm thankful for them, and they all care. Their love and support is going to show its way to you, and your response to that is certainly going to be important for them
Yeah.
to feel that they have connected to you.
Yes, I want to say one more thing, and then all these people that have like just voluntarily on their own started like this charity stuff that, and they're donating proceeds to me. That's really just, I'm beyond words thankful for that, because it's not only like, all the medical stuff that I needed help with, and all the, morally and just, I mean, it's going to take a long time for me to get back to where I was, and it's not only just medical. I'm at the, I'm just putting everything I can into getting better, but it's there's so many levels to this. And then just because, with, I've had this GoFundMe, and we've reached one goal, but it's like still the battle it's in the beginning, and we're like so far from the finish line. But it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and but it's a slow marathon. I'm crawling.
It's
But
okay.
I can,
Crawling
and I
still
will
means
make
you're
sure-
still in the battle.
I will make
great.
sure that none of these efforts go in vain, and I'm gonna win this. So
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic, and I've always been that way, and
What
I'm a fighter.
So what's going to happen is I'm going to share some data with Kat, who will make sure she conveys it to you. And then
Okay.
I'm going to officially, publicly, the ball is in your court. There it goes.
Okay.
If you say, you know what, I'm going to get with Dominic, I'm going to dig a little deeper into this with him along the journey with the other people I'm working with. And if you want to connect back, and I know that this is a fit, I will then make myself available to you at any time around the clock to talk about or guide you through
Okay.
the things that I know that, again,
Okay.
eventually they work, they have worked. It's not a silver bullet. Let's make sure you get that, okay? But optimally, it's had great
Yeah.
reported result that we should not ignore it.
Okay. I will. I'm open-minded, and then
Good.
I have to introduce all this because I have a team behind me also, and I have to make sure everybody's like just on board. And but from the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
I appreciate you
to
wearing the
Catherine for
beautiful.
making this, drawing this situation here. And Dom, even though I've known you for a long time, this is another element.
It's
But,
time. It's time
guys,
that we have now.
I,
It's time that we have. It's time that our journeys have now gone like this for a little while.
And I want to end this with something kind of more lighthearted and funny, because I have a friend who is taking me. My life is not going to the beach, definitely, but I am. My friend's going to give me a ride to the beach, and another friend, my oncologist, introduced me to a guy that has horses, and so it's been one of my bucket lists is to ride a horse on the beach. And
Exactly. Ride the horses on. Run the horse.
Off.
Run the horses on the beach.
I'm gonna have a picture taken, and I am no poutine, and I'm very skinny right now, but I'm gonna do that post. And
I can see the brush of the. I can see the brush of the water in your face. I can see it already.
This is how I roll. This is how I roll.
Hey,
all right?
Not only that, but Mika, thank you for making me feel so comfortable by wearing that beautiful camouflage necklace for the drill instructor.
Well, you know, this is part of it. Has a little bit of a UV protection, but I know I remember you're into this stuff. So anyway, I love you guys.
Love
We
you
love
too.
you too.
Or hasta luego.